Tucked away on the outskirts of a dead-end street in rural Poland lies a forgotten cottage, its once vibrant life now a mere whisper of the past. This hidden gem, enveloped by overgrowth, was once the cherished home of Stefania, a widower who found solace in its simplicity. For many years, she lived quietly, her life an ode to nature and tranquility. In 1992, Stefania vanished, leaving behind a time capsule of her existence. Although part of the cottage has collapsed, the living area still stands, adorned with dust-covered decorations that hint at her gentle touch. Our journey begins with exploring a few other sites, and we stumble upon some unexpected surprises. However, these encounters set the stage for our ultimate discovery, leading us to Stefania's secluded retreat.
Another day in Poland, another explore, and actually no clue where we are heading right now. Well, as usual, of course, it is an abandoned house, but really do not know what the inside is gonna be like. We're literally just hiking in a meadow somewhere in Poland right now in the countryside. The house should be somewhere behind the trees, and the weather is still very warm, but it's not super sunny right now, so it's actually quite enjoyable. See Raymond walking up here, and I do see a rooftop behind all the trees. Okay, so we're now actually entering the yard. Little garden, but looks very strange since all the grass is actually cut. You can tell that they've been working on the garden. Here are all the sheds, but they're all properly locked and closed. Over there you can tell that somebody has actually been working here. Just first want to have a peek inside. But yeah, it still looks abandoned. Oh wow. Whether it's still gonna be open is a question.
I don't think so. Damn.
Because even over here the wall collapsed. And they just tried to completely close it again. Another sign. Door over here was definitely once open, but they put a fresh padlock there.
Yeah, there was nothing over there. Just the gate.
Yeah, just a gate. Looks like a very French gate. I think this is gonna be a fail, guys. That's a bummer. That is really a bummer. Then we're just gonna head to the next place, guys, and that one is really gonna be amazing. There's still this flag with something of Poland, and it's always really cool to make a picture there as well when you're in a different country exploring. So yeah, we're heading there right now, and yeah, I'll see you when we're at the car.
Luckily the other spot is like very close nearby, so.
But this one is relatively close, so we're gonna hop in the car and we'll see you right there. Okay, so we made it, but we're already catching a lot of attention from the local villagers. And they're all looking at us like they've never seen a person from the Netherlands over here. Like Raymond said to me, it's part of the game.
It is part of the game, man. I mean, yeah, definitely it's just part of the game. You know, you gotta accept it that people always will lurk at you because you're in villages where literally nobody comes and nobody ever goes to.
Like there was first a woman, she looked at me. After that a man came, he was smoking a cigarette in the garden over his fence, looking at us like, what on earth are those guys doing here? Well, we're going to an abandoned house, a very historical one, because this one was built in the 19th century.
I do think this can be an L again. Look at that. All right, that was kind of up. It was literally the guy with the scooter that just passed us, and he's coming on the perimeter right now.
Добрый день.
I have no freaking clue, man, what this is about.
What on
Alright.
earth had just happened?
Yeah, quite strange, man.
What was that?
I have no clue. I honestly have no clue.
Where did he go?
He just drove by, like, he just, yeah,
Just passed without saying anything.
yeah,
Bro, that was so strange.
yeah, that was quite strange, man.
That's one of the strangest things ever. He didn't even say anything.
And he literally just drove, like, he drove by and then
Yeah, but
he
where
saw
did he go?
us.
I see a trail going
Yeah, yeah,
there.
he just drove right past through that part. Yeah, no, that's close, man.
I believe this is the entrance going through here. Well, made our way inside. So far everything seems empty. We're on the second floor right now. You can tell by the banisters how historical this property is. Floor. Looks like it's pretty destroyed.
And these are all just empty rooms, as you can tell. One empty, second one emptied out. Yeah.
Raymond heard strange things inside that could indicate that we are not completely alone inside this building.
Over here I heard the things, man, so be very careful.
I really think there was nobody here. But not the place from the picture. And that's what I was already afraid of. Or it's downstairs.
Could be, could be. Yeah, no, man.
Well, then we're gonna check downstairs. Well, at least you still got a tour of this place.
Yeah.
But it's really empty. All empty. Except the stove again.
This part?
What's this over?
Yeah.
Oh!
There is the stuff.
This looks cool.
This is the only fascinating part.
Hey, this is the room we were looking for. You see? It isn't here.
Oh, nice.
Flag of Poland.
Well, then the only thing that is left.
Only this room.
Yeah. Yeah, the clothes,
So strange. Over here, everything is like a time capsule.
television.
Pictures of a dog.
Huh.
Let's look
Quite
at that.
nice.
Everything is in there.
Yeah.
So strange. The complete building. There was an agenda of 2009. Complete building is completely stripped and empty.
Except for
And there
this
is
room.
this one room.
Yeah, and as well as over here, shoes, kitchen part. Yeah, and furthermore, it really looks like they're trying to strip this out.
Yeah.
I checked the other spaces, so
And it was nothing, right?
you can check it.
So strange. If you see those hallways and corridors, you really don't expect that room to be there. Yeah, like you just said, looks like they have been working over here. Definitely.
Well, no. I do think that was it, right?
Yeah, really strange exploration, this one.
Yeah, really strange. I mean, it's good to capture something like this. This is our Poland series.
We had to explore one more place on this day.
Okay, so there we go. We're going on this little hike through the forest, and apparently in the middle of the forest there is still this cabin that's completely untouched. At least, if it still looks like the pictures. We're still in Poland, so It's always a question. You don't know if the place got vandalized or not. But I'm really excited for this one. When I saw pictures, I was actually really excited. There are cobwebs right now.
Yeah.
That's where Raymond is actually wiping with his hand.
Yep. Yeah, as you can tell, walking through the forest right now.
I'm not sure if you can already see it, but I can already see a building popping up behind the bushes. Well, this looks like a shed. Would that be the cabin?
That is the cabin.
Well, you can clearly tell that this place has been abandoned for many years. Alright. Whoa, but it is really untouched, bro.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's a little place, but it's gonna be really untouched. But I think there are definitely some droppings in here because there are plenty of flies.
Yeah, and the smell is terrible.
Still some sunglasses over here. Yeah, I'm just firstly showing this where we came in. Oh look, that looks poisonous.
It is indeed a very small cabin, yeah.
Yeah, from the outside I was really thinking that this was a shed.
Yeah.
Got those little things dangling down here. Let's make our way inside the room. Wow. So little but so cozy, this little cottage. And look at those two dolls over here.
Yeah.
A clown one. Still some jackets hanging up here and
Lee jeans.
jeans. Television.
Also left. Wow. Actually so crazy that this man is inside of so many places. Like this cottage is like a 3-room cottage, and even in here. Do you think this is due to the decay?
I don't know. Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah.
Windmill.
Yeah, this is very unique, man. As you can tell, the clothes are left, and even like the resting pieces of
Oh yeah.
Drake's head.
Looks like somebody cleaned that maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, these are dead, of course.
Okay, there are also still plenty of clothes in here. And ties as well.
Even woman clothes?
Yeah, women's clothes as well.
Oh, damn.
There's this paper. At least what's left of it. And I see a name, Stefania.
That's a woman's name, yeah?
That's a woman's name, yeah.
Do you think it was only a woman living in there? That's quite strange, actually.
This place really looks like one of those cottages where just a single person lives, like a hermit.
True.
Just living a solitary life.
Farming life, man. Have you actually seen the boots over there?
Yeah, I saw them, yeah.
Very cool. Well, yeah, this is again where we came in. Of course, over here.
Definitely a farmer's coat.
Yeah, definitely.
And what would be in here?
Oh, I didn't even see it. I do think food. This was used for food storage. Was used.
Still some coffee.
Yeah. I do really like the sunglasses. You already showed them, but
Yeah.
they look very nice. Ah, this was the kitchen part, I think. Yeah. Yeah.
I think so. Very primitive though.
Yeah. There is also.
Oh yeah, you can tell. There were things to put on your sandwich.
Do you think we can find a date?
That's mustard,
Yeah.
but it's empty, so...
I'm not sure if I can find a date. I will try it. Wait. 92. Damn.
1992, okay.
Damn.
That's a while back.
That's a while back, yeah.
I think this place has been resting over here in the woods for a long time.
Yeah. I really do think so. And was just wide open again.
Yeah, I believe where you're standing on is a part of a door somewhere.
It is indeed. I do think of this door.
There are also some medicines inside here. This was their little medicine shaft. Oh, and look, there is actually a flycatcher here. But that's not really doing its job anymore.
Some more food products, kitchen amenity.
Yeah, just some jars, but there was no food inside anymore. Curious to see the next room.
Well, first thing first. Some codes again. And we are in Poland, so some liquor can be missing. Damn.
Oh wow. First have a look at this room.
Yeah, man. It's so tiny in here, actually.
Yeah, but again, so untouched, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, not many people know about this place, otherwise things would be stolen or vandalized. It's really fascinating to see.
And you know what I also mean with like tiny? Look,
The height of the
the
ceiling.
height of the ceiling, man. I mean, we are very small and almost touching it. Yeah.
I think Stefania was a little woman.
Yep.
And look how skewed this wardrobe is standing, it's near to fall down.
I can't even open it up, but you can tell that there are clothes inside. Again, women's clothes.
Again, women's clothes.
This is actually quite funny. Some paint.
Looks like that was definitely for a child. I also actually really like these tomatoes to cover up the dish.
Yeah.
Never seen that.
No. me
Really
neither.
like it.
Yep. For Stephanie.
Stefania.
Stefania, exactly. Stefania.
Stephanie wouldn't be a very Polish
It
name.
wouldn't be a very Polish name though. Something written over here in Polish. Old handbag. And well, yeah, as you already showed over there, some more jars.
Some more kitchen utensils over here, the plates, the cups. Some baking soda in here, I believe.
Well, watch out because the floor over here is...
Caving in.
Yep.
Aromatizer and some crams.
Okay, okay.
Looks like very traditional people over there in that frame.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe Stefania was also like that, but I don't see any clothes like that inside this place. We do have another sofa over here, but I think she used this as her bed, since you see a massive pillow, a mattress, so I think that this was a very primitive bedroom. I think the person over here really lived primitively and
Very primitive.
had like not a lot of money actually.
I don't think so either, man. I really don't think so either.
But
What
it's
is this?
beautiful to see the beauty of simplicity today. And look how vintage this looks, this
Yeah.
little magazine.
And I really can't find the date actually.
Looks like it's all with recipes for cooking and baking.
It is, it is. All in Polish.
That's probably also the reason why you're not finding a date. This is just a cooking book.
Cooking book, exactly.
Over here is something from history.
From 18.
Yeah, from the
30s.
yeah, but that's not the date from the book. I
No,
think.
no, no. It's the history, like the history time period.
Damn. Look at the floor over here even. Luckily there is no basement, so won't be falling too deep. This is just a story reading book.
Yep.
I believe this one as well. Yeah.
Well, you know, there is one other cool thing. Besides the clumps right next to the bed.
Oh yeah, these are very traditional actually. Even still an alarm clock with a dry bouquet of flowers is right next to the bed on this nightstand. Check it out, another little frame. This place was actually way more little than I expected, but we already explored it, man.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I do think so. I mean, I can have a look around after this, but for now I would say just send it off here. Because it was very small. Well, I saw one thing that is a crucifix, but it's like overgrown. It's in the garden over here.
We can have a look. So there we are actually at the front of this little cottage. There was a side barn, but that one has collapsed, as you can tell.
Yeah, and you can tell that there was like an upper floor, which was possible to go over here, but yeah, it's impossible to go there right now.
And what Raymond actually thought was a crucifix in the shadows is actually a wishing well. Oh well, It's not a wishing well. It is actually something religious.
Yeah.
But I cannot show it from the front because the neighbor is actually outside right now. And we don't talk a single word Polish. So we're heading safely to the backside again. Off this little cabin. We just don't want to get in trouble in this country.
No.
And we just don't talk Polish at all.
And believe
So
me,
then it will be very difficult to have any dialogue with those people.
in this farmland, people don't speak a word English. Like there is not even a single word that they can do. Maybe hello, but that's it. So yeah,
So with the cabin in the background,
I
gonna
did-
end today's exploration right here.
Yeah. It was very small. It was it was very untouched. I mean, that's definitely something different for Poland, like our friends already told us. So, besides the fact that there were 3 rooms, I really enjoyed it. I hope we took some attention to the details for you, and if we did, and if you enjoyed it as well, then you know the drill. Like, subscribe, comment right down below, ring the bell notification button right up there, and by the way, we offer YouTube memberships. That's right. If you want early access to our videos or you want exclusive content, you can find that also down here in the description. Take a look and maybe we will see you there. So, besides everything said, we will see you on our next adventure. Peace out.